Okay, so, last time, on FlatOut 2, we did the Street Rack Cup, and I decided that because the Sparrowhawk was a big handful to drive, especially at high speeds when you're basically just getting either punted or just straight up drilled out the way as much as you are in this game, I decided to switch over to the Lantus because, well, the Lantus is a better choice in terms of it being an easier car to drive, and also because, well, this thing is more durable. I did actually use the Sparrowhawk for a brief little bit of grinding, and I was able to tolerate just being racked out the way as much as I was. But eventually, the amount of oversteer and wheel spin that I just kept getting from the car, eventually there was a point where I just decided enough is enough, and that was when I switched over to the Lantus. Because I decided that, well, trying to wrangle the Sparrowhawk, yeah, at the end of the day, it was just too much. So I did the rest of my grinding in the Lantus. And I am also trying to get up to 750 subs, so if you really want to do something amazing for me, then maybe you could consider hitting that subscribe button. Trying to get to 750 subs before the end of September if possible. But anyway, let's now get our new car, because there is no way in hell I am driving the fucking Sparrowhawk again. It was just too much of a handful. And that's why we are now using this Canyon. First of all, because it's a truck, and also because, well, I don't think there are any four-wheel drive vehicles in the third level category, and no there isn't. So we're using the Canyon, and we are going to purchase this thing. I know I obviously got more money in the grinding process than what I was supposed to, but either way, and this thing is huge. But anyway, I got that extra money because I figured grinding was needed. And that's pretty much what I am doing here. And just making sure that my ride is eligible for something that'll work. So yeah, might as well put on the racing turbo whilst I'm at it. And I think I'll leave that there for the engine. And I think for this, we'll put on the clutch and flywheel. And we'll also put on the racing gearbox. In terms of the exhaust, yeah, let's go for racing. And we'll go for yeah, I guess we can go for the Pro manifold if we really wanted to. And I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make it cheap for the rest of this. So modified tyres, modified brakes. For the body, we're going to go with yeah, let's do the racing chassis. And then I think all we'll need to do now, yeah, we can't really afford much, so I'm just going to go with the modified suspension and modified steering. Okay, I think that should do it now, in terms of our upgrade choices. So hopefully this works. I probably did overspend in the engine bay, but I figured elsewhere because this thing is 4-wheel drive, we should be okay. And so, let's continue our progression in the canyon, as we are doing the Street Survival Cup. And where if we win, we'll get 6,100 credits as a prize bonus. And we begin at Pine Grove 3. Old gas stations, heavily banked roads, racing along cliff sides, and a nice downhill run to the local water supply yard. So, it's been a minute, and whilst I figured my canyon was drivable, it was not drivable to the point where it was really worth just trying to wrangle it. So I did some grinding. I did the special racing Fields Cup again, so I could get some bonus money, and amazingly, I managed to get up to 16,800 credits. Because I really need to improve the handling on this thing. And that is what I am doing now. I should probably also improve the tyres as well, because they need it most. I could probably get the pro tyres if I really wanted to. Yeah, fuck it, I'll get the pro tyres. And racing brakes. And hopefully that should now be enough. Hopefully this time around with a better handling car, my ride will actually be able to go through the corners the way I want it to. So let's try again with the Street Survival Cup. Already read the description once, don't need to read it again. Let's actually try and see if we can get through it this time, because that is what I want. I want to make sure I get through this and roll with it. So, let's do that. I think the improved handling on my car should be enough, because I do have pro tyres on this thing and I also have racing parts. Oh my god. I got 2 crash outs in the same part of the track. And I wasn't even paying attention to the fact that I literally wrecked both of them. Well, Jack's out front at the moment, but since it is a 5-lap race, I don't think he's going to be out front for too long. And my car just feels so much better to drive. It feels how it's supposed to feel, and that's what I want. It's just so much easier to drive now, compared to before. As I got some big bounty for wrecking both Sophia and Frank at the start of the lap. And now I'm down to 4th. However, I still have another 4 laps to recover. Thankfully this is only 3 races long and it's not 5 races long. I know there is going to be carnage between now and the end. I'm also pretty sure in my canyon that I probably will get some big hits with this thing. I think as long as I can finish in the top 3 for the first race and then win the second 2 races, I think that's more or less the way this is going to go. Or at least if I can score victory in 2 of these 3 races, then I should be in a good spot. And there goes Jack. As Sally actually works her way into the top 3 now. We'll see how long that lasts. And here's Katie as well, who is also not too far behind us. And Sally gets a little loose, and she loses me, and I set a new personal best lap time. The game always says fastest lap, but that mainly is pertained to the personal best lap time. I think that's the word I'm looking for. Anyway. Yeah, I think the word is pertain. And Jason Walker is the first car out with all the carnage. Sophia is right up ahead of me. I don't think that's going to be the only one we have in terms of our DNFs for race 1. I think there probably will... Oh my god. Okay. Oh my goodness. That was scary. That really was scary. I have no idea how I survived that. That was unbelievable. But anyway, I'm still running, and I am still in contention for winning, as Sophia hits what remains of Jason's car, and Jack got the worst of it. And Katie is trying to make a run for second. I get a little bit loose. Understeering and oversteering, I think, is what happened there. And Jack is now out, so that takes our attrition total up to 2. And I think it's Sally that's right behind me as I hit some rocks. She's got a pretty fast car, Sally. And Sophia now looks to be dropping out of contention with her mistakes, as I am battling Sally for the lead, and I force her out the way. Sophia must have recovered from those mistakes, and no, she hasn't. This time it's now Ray who is up into second, with Katie third at the moment. And Sophia is now back up to second. And Ray is still in this. And I think Ray might be the third retiree if he has another big hit. The attrition total currently stands at 2 in terms of drivers out, and I hit Jack. This is definitely a bounty-filled endurance test if I ever saw one. And Sophia is now out, and Frank is actually ahead of me. Okay, keep it steady. Okay, we're still running for now. Frank is actually up front in this race. I never would have guessed that to be possible. And Katie is among the fighters. Sally now moves up to third. Frank is going to win, but I managed to get P2. And we had 3 retirements in that race. And Frank also set the fastest lap of the race as well. Still, I am actually amazed to say Katie survived that one, because if she didn't, then we would have had a graveyard. But anyway, Frank proves to be the best driver in the end, with me second, Sally third, Ray fourth, Katie fifth, and she is the last of the finishers. as Sophia, Jack, and Jason all damaged out. I'm also pretty sure Sally is definitely spinning her wheels. That's actually really cool, I like that. I like the way she's just literally spinning the rear tyres because she's stuck. That's actually quite funny. But anyway, there we go. 2 slams, 3 power hits, no super flips, 1 blast out, 2 crash outs, and 1 wrecked. I think I might know precisely what reward I might get from this. Oh, never mind, I don't. Well, I still managed to cause my fair share of damage in the end anyway, and I did manage to, no doubt, prove I was useful in the bounty racing tactics. Anyway, Frank wins race 1, myself 2nd, and Sally 3rd, with Ray 4th. And there's the bottom 4. Now we move on to Farmlands 2, and where this time we're going for 6 laps. Ooh boy. There is going to be more chaos, you can count on it. So our highest attrition toll up to this point is still standing at 3, but I reckon we'll probably get at least 1 race where half the field crashes out. I can see that happening before this is all over. It really is proper carnage. In this game, with the amount of times you just literally have to wreck your opponents. However, Frank did prove to be the best driver in the end. He did have the fastest car after all. Although I didn't get any top driver awards, I still managed to deal my fair share of damage, and you know what? I'm actually pretty content with that. So Jason leads, myself 2nd, with Sophia 3rd, Frank now moves up to 4th. We'll see how long that lasts. And I think in the next few laps that's where carnage is going to officially ensue, as I get my slam on Jason, who was also the first retiree in the previous race. However, I think as long as I stay ahead of Frank, I should be in a good position. I don't necessarily need to win most of these races. I just need to be standing at the end when the chips are down. That's basically what I have to do here. Still, you could definitely call us bounty hunters, because of the amount of bounty that we just put on each other in these races. It's probably the best way I can describe it, really. It's almost like you're literally doing a demolition derby, but it's literally on an actual racetrack where you're demolishing each other and not in an arena. It basically is a case of last man standing, as I flip my car over, but somehow I managed to get back on all 4 wheels again. I think it goes to show how well the anti-roll bars are treating me at the moment. Frank is right behind me, however, because he beat me in the previous race, I won't let him beat me again. Or try not to let him beat me again. as Katie is currently stationary. So we're 4 laps in. I would think this is probably going to be where the carnage probably does ensue. As it's currently Frank in second with Ray third, and Katie is trying to make up for last time as a back marker. And now it looks as though she's not going to unlap herself. So Jack now moves back up to second. We are on the final lap here at, I think this is Farmlands 2, is it? Yeah, I think this is Farmlands 2 when I looked at the description. And Sally is the first DNF of race 2. And it looks like she might be the only retiree. I'm going to assume the only reason Frank really benefited was because of the attrition. But anyway, because there aren't as many wrecks this time around, he does not benefit like there were before. So there we go. I live to fight another day, and I also take over the lead. As Jack finished second with Jason third, Frank fourth, Ray fifth, Sophia sixth, and Katie seventh, the last of the finishers, and Sally, who finished P3 in the first race, finishes last in the second race, as she damaged out before the end. Alright, one race to go. I am glad to say I did put the improvements on this thing I needed to put on. So I get another grand, 8 slams and 1 power hit, and Sophia sweeps the top driver rewards. And now we just have one race to go, as I have a 3-point advantage over Frank. Jack is third, with Ray fourth, and there is the rest of the order, as Katie and Sophia are both tied for last. Alright, final race of the Street Survival Cup at Water Canal 2, and we are going for 5 laps. Oh boy, I think there is going to be some carnage here. Although the clue is literally in the name, because this is the Street Survival Cup. There is definitely going to be carnage here, you can count on it. Plenty of big hits as well. And that's a wall. Well, at least I get my hit on Sophia. I'd say we're doing okay for now. And there's carnage behind us. Jack briefly takes over the lead, and I am right behind him. Oh, I nearly hit him. I was really trying to see if I could get a hit on him, but unfortunately that wasn't going to happen. That was a perfect pirouette. Just absolutely perfect is what that was. Hi Sophia. Bye Sophia. As Katie is currently fighting with Jack, I now take over the lead once again. Frank is right behind me. And now Oh, he must have wrecked when he was behind me. Sophia tries to wreck me, but she's not successful. And still the carnage continues. Well, at least I can say they still score points even if they do fail to finish. As I'm dragging one of the sweepers. And Sophia flips herself. Literally. And we've got a battle for second between Jason and Jack. Jack is now taking the lead. However, I will make sure to fight back, as I have stronger grip in this car compared to his, is it Skylar, the name of the car Jack's driving? I think it is called the Skylar. And Frank is out. The guy who won race 1 now crashes out in the final race. I guess the pressure was too much for him. As I get a power hit on Jason, and I get a slam on Katie, who is also pretty heavily damaged. I think we are going to have more DNFs before this race is over, the way things are looking right now. I mean, Jack has got a bit of damage on his ride, so I reckon it's possible to say we're definitely going to have some more attrition before this is over. Get out the fucking way, Jack. And Jack is out. So that's now 2 DNFs and we've not even completed 3 laps. This is definitely going to be the attrition taking race, as both Frank and Jason are out. Sorry, Frank and Jack are both out. But still, 6 cars remain. Whoever survives, we'll wait and see. As we now... And Jason is out, so that brings the attrition toll up to 3. I think we're probably going to get half the field retiring from this race, potentially. And we do. And that now just leaves 4 cars left. Myself, Sophia, Katie, and Ray Carter. And I get wrecked from behind by Sophia. Or bumped from behind by Sophia, I should say. But we still have another lap to go. This is definitely an attrition-based race, as Katie has a wreck. Can I make this 2 out of 3? I hope I can. Also, something else I noticed was that earlier today I actually did have a jump in subscribers. I said I was wanting to get up to... And Ray Carter is out. And wow, this race has really taken its toll on the AI. Because we've now had 5 DNFs. And we're still not finished. Literally 5 cars out. And there's only 3 left. Jesus Christ. This has definitely been a race of attrition. 5 DNFs in the 3rd race. That is unbelievable. It really is. Well, this could be one of those rare cases where only the top 3 manage to finish the race. I just have to make sure I stay alive long enough, and then this will be 2 out of 3 to me, as Katie wrecks herself again. Bringing Sophia back up into 2nd. So the Canyons and the Super Chili Pepper are looking like the ones that will survive as we have just a few corners to go. Katie now retakes second from Sophia, and this has definitely been a race of attrition. Fucking hell. 5 DNFs. And I also set the fastest lap for that race as well. Probably because everyone else had too much damage. But anyway, I win by 7 seconds over Katie Jackson, and Sophia Martinez finishes P3. And the last of the finishers. And then behind us we have the graveyard. 5 of 8 cars in that race damaged out. That is a literal graveyard, is what that is. More than half the field retired from that race. Well, I kinda knew this race was gonna be carnage, but I never could have guessed how much carnage. Till I saw the results for myself, I honestly didn't know. But still, basically from lap 2 onwards, it just became a graveyard. Because everyone was just killing one another, basically. Just pulling off racing-related manslaughter any way they could. That's basically what this was. I am also glad to say that Katie actually finished, because in that Super Chili Pepper, she's really not been so lucky, because she has been out of a few races in that car, but, well, where it matters most, she did manage to finish in P2. And considering the bad luck she's had recently, I will actually give her kudos for that. I really will. Because it was a case of everyone else, or nearly everyone else, damaging out, that she got to be runner-up in this race. I think that's definitely going to cause a shuffle in the points, because of the chaos that took place in this race. I mean, we even had most of the front runners, most of the usual front runners out of this race as well. Basically 2 out of 3 of the front runners retired from that race except for Sophia. So I think a shuffle in points is going to seem inevitable. But either way, I saved my stuff right at the end, and that is how I got it done. Okay, I think that's enough. Just before the game decides to crash on me again, if it does, those are your results again. The top 3 were the only finishers in that race, and everyone else, well, they basically killed themselves. So, yeah. A true race of survival, and I happen to be in it where I needed to be. And I've now got 6,900 credits. Nice. So 4 slams and 7, yes, 7 power hits. And nothing else. Because the AI basically did the rest. So Ray gets the Best Wrecker and Blast Master awards, meanwhile I get the Fastest Lap and Bulldozer awards. Not bad. in what was very much a race of survival. And in spite of all that, in spite of Frank finishing last in the final race, he still manages to finish P2 because he won the first race. That third race, it was a real race of attrition. So 2 out of 3 wins to me, 1 win to Frank, as I beat him by 12. Then Katie, as a result of her finishing second in the final race, gets the tiebreaker over Ray. Jack gets his tiebreaker over Sophia because he finished second at Farmlands. And then Sally, who finished third in the first race, drops down to 7th. And at the back, it was Jason with just 10 points. So 28, 16, 14, 14, 12, 12, 11, and 10 are your final point scores for the Street Survival Cup. And I scored 2 out of 3 wins in the canon, and get another 6,100 credits with 2 golds and 1 silver. And as a result, I have now unlocked Ski Jump. And so we are now 40% complete with the Street class. And the Street Survival Cup is now done, and next up will be the Street Rumble Cup, coming in the next episode of FlatOut 2.